With minimax regret, we are considering that given a particular outcome, what would have been your best decision? And therefore, if we look at the information we've been given, if weekly demand turned out to be 100, then the possible outcomes are a result of a £500 profit, a £200 loss, or a £900 loss. And therefore, the best decision would have been to supply 100. Now, if that was the case, and we did that, we would have no regrets. However, if we'd supplied 200, we'd get a loss of 200 as opposed to a profit of 500. And the difference between those two means that we've lost out on 700. Whereas if we'd supplied 300, you get a loss of 900, where we could have got a profit of 500, and the difference between those two is 1,400, which is your regret. If you come down to the next row, you've got demand of 200. If that was the case, our best option would have been to supply 200, get a profit of 1,000, and we would have no regrets. Whereas if we'd supplied 100, we would get a profit of 500, which means we've lost out on 500. So that's the difference between the outcome from the best option and the outcome that what you've got here. If you come to the last bit, if you supplied 300, we'd actually have regret of 700, the difference between the outcome from the best option 1,000 and the outcome that you've got here of 300. So we have regret of 700. Finally, if weekly demand was 300, our best option would be supply 300, so we'd have no regrets. If we'd supplied 100, we'd have regret of 1,000, and if we'd supplied 200, we'd have regret of 500. What we then do with minimax regret, we've calculated the regrets, then we need to look at what is the maximum regret we could get from each option. So you look down each column and you identify what is going to be the biggest potential regret, and from 100, the biggest regret you have is 1,000. From 200, the biggest regret you have is 700, and from 300, the biggest regret is 1,400. And what we want to do is pick the smallest out of the maximum regrets, which is that 700, and as such, we should choose to supply 200 units.